Welcome to the Forever Free Space podcast. I'm your host, health and fitness professional Joyce Van Setters.
I am Pete Moriello, broker associate.
And together we created this space for aspiring and current entrepreneurs to get as much information as possible from thought leaders in their industry. Today we're excited because we have one of those thought leaders in-house, Jose Rodriguez.
Yes, how you doing?
Sir.
Welcome to the show.
Formerly known as the credit due, because everyone knows you as that.
Absolutely,
so we have to bring that up, but he's here today.
Exactly. And Jose has worked on a community of helping businesses and tons of people repair their credit. And he's going to get into that. But first, we want to know, where are you from, Jose?
I'm originally from I was born in Puerto Rico, but I was pretty much raised in Long Branch, New Jersey.
Okay. And how long did you live there?
Since 1993.
You're still there today?
I'm in Marlboro right now.
Marlboro.
Yeah.
Okay.
So different from Long Branch, but
Yeah.
I guess you could say like moving on up to the east side.
Yeah. Move to the other side.
So
Where did you go to high school? Long Branch?
Long Branch High School. Yeah.
Okay.
Graduated 2001.
Okay. And tell me about after graduation.
So when I was 17, I enlisted in the United States Marine Corps. I didn't know what that I was doing. One of my good friends, Alex Rivera, he was enrolled in the delayed entry program. So like right before you go to boot camp. And one day he was like, "Hey man, let's go play football on base." And I'm like, "Yeah, that's cool." Next thing you know, I'm swearing in to the Marine Corps. Like, I didn't realize what I was doing.
Right.
I did, but I was 17, and I don't think I would have done anything else. People would say, "Oh, what if you would have did this?" I couldn't have seen myself doing anything else. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I that's the one thing that has always been true to me. I kind of like do first and then maybe think later.
Yeah.
And it's got me in trouble, and it's also saved me from a lot of stuff, but also has allowed me to create an empire. So when I went to the Marines, I went to boot camp at 18, even though I joined at 17, and still don't know what I was doing. Like, what the heck am I doing? I'm 18 years old. I'm in boot camp. I'm by myself. I'm alone.
Yeah.
I'm afraid. I was crying, and I was like, all right, well, with the big boys now, you can't just go home. It's not like you go to college and you could just
Pick up and leave.
and tell your mom, like, I'm going back to the, I can't handle dorm life. Let me just go home. And I had to suck it up for 3 months. You know what I mean? I was in boot camp, and I had to become a man. I had, got in some fights, had to, didn't eat for like almost the first week I was there because just being homesick. And but it's one thing that it taught me. It was you could either quit and go home and be considered a loser and a failure,
Right.
or you can figure it out. And that's what I did from 18. I went to Japan. When I finished boot camp, I graduated. I went to Japan. I was stationed there for 2 years, and
Nice.
throughout all that, I became a martial arts instructor, which is kind of crazy.
While you were in the Marines.
While I was in the Marine Corps,
Okay.
yeah, I became a martial arts instructor. And what's crazy is when I was in high school, I think I won one wrestling match. I wrestled from from sixth grade to, I didn't wrestle my senior year, but to junior year, I think I won one wrestling match, and it was only because the kid forfeited.
Damn.
You know what I mean? I was 115 pounds soaking wet. So for me to think like I'm a martial arts instructor, like it really elevated me to the next level. I was 19 in Japan, brown belt instructor, teaching, colonels and sergeant majors. And because I'm an instructor, I didn't just get the belt.
Right.
I actually became an
Yeah.
instructor.
Yeah.
So I'm teaching and training. And I'm like, I'm in Japan. I'm like, one day I wake up, I'm like, I'm in Japan. I'm 19. I'm training people martial arts. I'm in the Marine Corps. Wow, like, what a life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just started just connecting, networking, not realizing what I was doing, making sure I was doing everything right. And then from Japan, I got stationed in Virginia.
Okay.
I got a little bit of trouble in Japan. So they wouldn't allow me to like extend my stay. So I got stationed in Virginia, and I was bored.
What trouble did you get in?
So I kind of borrowed, let's just say not borrowed, let's just say my boss went home on leave, and I ended up throwing a party in his house. And one of my boys borrowed one of his cars and crashed it.
Yeah, Marine life is crazy,
Yeah,
man.
bro.
My boy was a Marine, and
Yeah.
they were wild, man. They used to do some wild stuff.
Yeah, one of those
That
things.
was like fraternity life on steroids.
Yeah, bro. It's no, like, looking back on it, I was like, dude, you were dumb.
And you were only
Yeah.
18. I mean,
At that time, I was 20.
okay.
You know what I mean? When they wouldn't allow me to, because I was there for 2 years.
Okay.
And
So you couldn't re-enlist again?
well, I
You
couldn't extend my stay
Okay.
in Japan because usually it's a year tour or a 3-year tour. So I was
Okay.
doing year tours. So they was like, nope, you got to go back to the States type of stuff. You know what I mean? But it was a good lesson. It was like, yo, dude, like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like, your boys are going to get you in trouble at the end of the day. Yep. So then I get stationed in Quantico, Virginia, which is pretty dope because I'm close to home. And there's nothing but officers around.
FBI territory.
FBI headquarters, the training facility is there. DC is there. I ended up getting a motorcycle. Thought I was hot stuff because I would put one hand on my lap and thinking I was doing tricks and stuff. You know what I mean? So it was a different lifestyle because I'm back home.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm still alone. I'm still living on my own or whatever the case is. But I was bored.
Right.
I was still doing martial arts, and then the opportunity came for me to become a recruiter. And I was like, oh, that's pretty dope. You know what I mean? It was either become a recruiter or do what's called Marine Security Guard. And then I would have to go to like other countries and do like MSG duty. And I was like, I don't really know if I want to do that. Like you guard the embassies.
Yeah.
I'd rather go home. You know what I mean? So I was able to become a recruiter at the age of 21. Wow. At that point in time, I was the youngest recruiter in the Marine Corps. And now I know why. I'm going to tell you guys why they don't allow you to be, you have to be a certain age.
Yeah.
And I went back home, so I'm in Trenton, New Jersey. I'm 21 years old. I'm a recruiter. I'm still wet behind the ears.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I started recruiting.
You put in about 5 years, right? From
no, 17? Not even, almost 4.
4 years, okay.
Almost 4 years. So I got on recruiting duty in October of 2004. Not even 4, because I joined July of 2001. October 2004, I'm in recruiter school. Okay. December of 04, I check into Trenton, and you're by yourself.
Yep.
There's no bosses. Yeah, there's a boss, but like it's called independent duty. Right. Independent duty. So you live at home. You eat your own food. There's no barracks. There's no base, and I could see why they don't allow young people to do that. Because I started doing dumb stuff again, partying, following the crowd. And
what exactly does a recruiter do? You go to different schools and try to recruit kids?
So it was actually, for me, it was the second most fulfilling job I've ever had outside of this. Yeah. You get to speak to a kid, find out what their goals are, what they want to do in life, and you can show them how the Marine Corps can help them achieve that. Not everybody fits the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? Yeah. Not everybody, they say like everybody, like the Marine Corps, they call us crayon biters or jarheads or whatever the case is, but it takes a certain level of craziness and risk taker to join the Marines. Yeah. Army, Navy, Air Force, love them. Yeah, but to become a Marine, I never
wanted to be part of that.
Is something different. So I would recruit people that I would want to see serving next to me. Thank God, I say unfortunately, because, the Marine looks at it that way. I never went to combat, but also fortunately because I never had to experience that. So I guess you could look at it both ways.
Yeah, of course.
But I always recruited a kid that I can see, like, give them a better lifestyle, get them out of where they're at. So a lot of the kids that I recruited, no matter if they were black, white, female, Hispanic, whatever the case is, they were like with me, little versions of me.
Yeah.
And throughout that, there was a kid that was homeless. And he really didn't have anything else. And the thing that sucks is throughout my journey as a recruiter, whether you want to call it following the crowd or not, I committed fraud. Okay. And it was something that was, let's just say, taught to me. And I figured out how I could have other kids take the ASVAB for other kids in order to join that couldn't necessarily pass it. Okay. See, in my mind, I'm giving you guys, you're getting
that
a head up.
SATs every
the SATs, right. That happened with the SATs. And I looked at it as like, I'm giving this person a better life.
Yeah.
Right.
But technically they didn't qualify for that job.
Right.
Right.
And you're a Marine.
And they're Marine. And so it's like, I started following the crowd, doing dumb stuff. I was naive. I was 22, 23. I was young.
Yep.
So I was easily manipulated, but I also didn't no guidance. You're still on your own a little bit, even though there's other Marines around you. I messed up big time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And one kid, oh, nothing. 2 kids, oh, this is easy. 3 kids. Next thing you know, I'm a 5, 6, 7 kids.
Right.
And that homeless kid that I put in shouldn't have been a Marine. You understand? Unfortunately, it takes a certain level, even of being a Marine, of like common sense type of stuff.
Yeah, of course.
And I picked him up to go to boot camp to MEPS and Fort Dix, and he came with a suitcase. And that should have been a sign right there.
Right.
I'm like, suitcase? What the hell is this guy doing, bro? You're going to Marine Corps boot camp. He had an Xbox in there because he ended up picking him up. Because I ended up picking him up from like his aunt's house or something like that. Right. You know what I mean? Yeah. And his aunt, take the Xbox. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? So he went upstairs, came back downstairs, empty-handed. not realizing he forgot his ID. So when you go to MEPS and you go sign in or whatever the case is, his signature didn't match because he didn't have his ID at his sign.
Right.
And because his signature didn't match from the kid that took his test,
Oh, wow.
He was like, what happened? He was like, oh, Sergeant Rodriguez has somebody take the test for me.
Damn.
But because the common sense wasn't there, he was like, yeah, somebody took the test.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, ran up the chain, got in trouble, got court-martialed. You know, I didn't evade it. They were like, you did that? Yeah, I did it. Like, that's me. And ended up finding other kids. I ratted myself out with the other kids that I did.
Yeah.
And ended up, pleading guilty, went to a court-martial. I was facing actually 5 years in the brig.
Did they say, you can't handle the truth?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was probably like one of the craziest things, too, because I experienced what it was like to be in a military courtroom, which is very different than a regular courtroom from like a traffic ticket. Big difference. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
my father was Air Force. So,
oh, yeah. Also, then.
Yeah.
You know how that is. And I didn't try to evade it, but not realizing when I pleaded guilty, I was facing 5 years in the brig. I was dating Kelly at that point in time, which is my wife now. We've been together almost 18 years. At that time, we were dating maybe 6 months, 7 months.
Oh, shit.
She's in Florida.
Kelly was like, yo, I'm out.
She said she's in Florida with her family when this thing bombs out, because it's like August of I think it was 05 or 06, or no, August of 06 when this came to light. And we're only dating like a few months. And she's like, what are you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? So when I was facing
after 6 months.
Oh yeah, you barely know somebody for like 5 years. You know what I mean? So when I was facing 5 years, I'm like, this lady ain't gonna wait for me.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, hang it up. Was reckless before I went in. Was doing dumb stuff I shouldn't have been doing. Drinking. Doing all this crazy stuff. And the judge was like, no, like, this is a Marine that messed up. We're only gonna give him 3 months. And I collapsed like on the chair.
Yeah.
Because
big break.
One, because I was still going to the brig.
Yeah.
No matter what, I was still going to military prison. But 3, I was like, damn. They was like, yo, let's put this guy back in the Marine Corps, and he'll be fine. And what's crazy is, I only ended up serving 2 months.
Wow.
Because I got a good behavior, but what you do prison for a day, 3 days, 2 months, 3 months. I was in there with killers. I was in there with rapists.
Yeah.
I'm like, what you in here for? They're like, you ever seen that movie Life? They're like, we in here for some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? And when I was in there, I was afraid to say I'm only in here for paper stuff. Because I didn't want to be, I was still 135, 40 pounds. Yeah. I didn't want to get picked on. So,
said, yo, I killed someone.
You know what I mean? And there were people in there. I ended up becoming a friend with one of the guys that like killed this. I'm like, what the heck am I doing in here? Right. You know what I mean? Like, I was just trying to recruit kids.
Right. You
know what I mean? So it was a big lesson. And then when I got out, I ended up getting out the Marine Corps. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm still, I think this is 07, still 23, 24 years old. Like, my niece just turned 25 yesterday. So I was still only 24 years old, trying to figure out life, trying to figure out what is it that you're doing. Like, so me and Kelly are still together, thank God. She came to visit me while I was down there. She's a trooper, by the way.
Saw something.
And I was there. I come out the brig. I owed money to the military. I had no job. Car just got repossessed. Like, I'm just like nothing. Like, I have nothing, and I discovered credit. You know what I mean? Throughout the military, I discovered credit in the military, not realizing that I would come back to it later.
Got it.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that I didn't realize that what I wanted to do was always there all along, is help people, impact people, save people. And where I showed people how the Marine Corps could benefit them only if they needed it and wanted it, I then showed them how credit could do the same thing. So with all that struggle, I mean, don't get me wrong, that was 2007. I mean, I've still struggled mentally, physically, emotionally since then, financially. But I think because of me not being able to quit boot camp, and I had to do it no matter what, and I had to survive on my own, and I had to do what I had to do, it taught me the basic principles of how to act and how to handle every situation down the road. If you quit, you quit. And you could probably become a statistic, and nobody's ever going to remember you.
Right, exactly.
You know what I mean? And that's why I got Achilles tattooed on my arm, because in the movie, the guy, when the little kid said to him, he's like, hey, the guy's bigger than you. And he's like, and that's why nobody's going to remember your name, because you're afraid to fight the guys that nobody else is.
Right.
And that's kind of like what the Marine Corps taught me at a young age, 17, 18, 19, 20. Even though I got in trouble, it gave me the basic principles and the foundation of how to handle everything now. And I'm 41, and I still use the Marine Corps every day as a reference on how to get over things.
So how did you get started with Got Credit?
So with Got Credit, at first it was called Clean Slate Credit Solutions. Okay. So my cousin Farron had home inspecting. He had a construction business, Fresh Start Property Services. And when I was in the Marine Corps, helping people with their credit here and there, help my credit, whatever the case is, my mom was going to refinance her home.
Okay.
With my ex-stepdad, with her ex-husband, not my real father. And I had helped people throughout the years, with their credit and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And my ex-stepdad was like, yo, you start a business. And I'm like, start a business? What are you talking about? You know what I mean? What's a business?
Right.
What's an LLC? What's an EIN?
Right.
This is 2010.
Right.
I don't know what are you talking about, Frank? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So then I'm on the phone with my cousin Farron, which is my wife's cousin. And he has a business, Fresh Start Property Services. And I'm like, yo, how do I do this LLC? He's like, yo, I found this website. Go here, 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 here. And I was like, all right, Fresh Start Property Services. I was like, all right, clean slate credit, because Fresh Start, clean slate.
Right.
I was trying to, I didn't know what to name it.
Build it off, right.
You know what I mean? I didn't know what that, so he's like, yeah. And I was like, did it go through? I was like, I don't know. The website crashed. I was like on a little laptop.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing you know, I get a paper in the mail. It was like, LLC, clean slate. I was like, oh, junk, it worked. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I was doing.
Right.
Got the EIN, a couple, and then throughout there, I was still working for the government. I was working for the VA, and I was trying to still figure out what I wanted to do. And as time went on, I discovered that there were more and more people that need help with their credit.
Yeah, true.
Because I helped people in Japan and in Quantico and on recruiting duty. Yo, you still fix credit? Yo, you still do the credit repair stuff? And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't know it was anything that everybody needed help with.
Right.
So I'm helping people overseas. I'm helping the staff sergeant. I'm helping the gunny. I'm helping the officer. I'm helping my boy's cousin. And next thing you know, August of 2012, I was due for a promotion at my job at the VA. The VA is the Veterans Affairs.
Yeah.
It's an automatic promotion from GS7, GS9, GS11. Somehow I managed to be one of two people that messed up the automatic promotion to GS11.
Wow. And
I was like, I quit. If I can't get this promotion, it's like, yeah, because it is. Because I was like, I had already started clean slate.
Right.
This February 2010. So then August of 2012, I'm like, is this what I want to do for the rest of my life? Like, my daughter is a year and a half. My wife is at home with our daughter. I'm missing out on stuff.
Yeah.
I quit. They're like, you can't quit a government job. I'm like, are you going to send me to jail? Because I've been to the brig and military, and I know what it takes.
Right.
I messed up. I'm quitting. Took off my ID card, handed it in, never looked back. And through there, Clean Slate Credit Solutions was like a home-based business, just helping people here and there, playing it small.
Give tips, like on how to get there?
Tips online. I was charging $75 for credit repair here and there, helping friends. Didn't really know what I was doing.
So you kind of just building it, but it wasn't really an established business.
Yeah, it was a business. I mean, I had to file bankruptcy 2 years later because I wasn't making any money.
Right.
So I was like in debt. It was like wasn't really knowing what I was doing truly. Like, I was a business owner at that point in time for 4 years when I filed bankruptcy, but I had no clue, like payroll, no. I didn't know. Like, thank God my ex-stepdad was an accountant because he did the tax stuff. But other than that, I was just trying to figure stuff out. And throughout all that, I discovered business credit.
Okay.
And
I know there's a lot technical difference between personal and business, and we'll get into that.
There is, but there's not. And what's crazy is when the business credit clicked, the business owner clicked. I became a business owner when I filed bankruptcy. And when I found out what business credit is, and then I discovered how to make revenue, sales, marketing, YouTube, Instagram was already out at that time in 2014. So then how to use things to make you money.
Right.
And how to generate sales and, video sales letters and funnels and emails and click campaigns. And I'm like,
monetization.
This is what it takes. It's not about what I'm doing.
Right.
It's what it takes to produce revenue to feed my family. And and I forgot exactly how Got Credit, the name I got, but it was a client that said oh yeah, kind of like Got Credit. It was a client that said it. And I was like, looked it up. Got credit, not taken, trademark, done. Put it on T-shirts, went to Triple Play, passed them out, and it was a wrap. With my cousin Farron, who had, at that time he was a home inspector, but I went to Triple Play. They what's Got Credit? I thought you were Clean Slate. Oh, we're rebranding, we're this, and I started educating,
right?
Because before I was behind the scenes, I wasn't doing it, and I realized, in order for me to make money, I got to get out there. I got to be on video. I got to do this, and I got to teach. I was a recruiter. I know how to teach people. I was a martial arts instructor. I know how to train. I know how to So all those principles from the Marine Corps, it all just came back.
Yeah.
And I started speaking on stages. I'm on the radio. I'm in here. I'm in there. And next thing you know,
How did
it's
you
like
get your first gig
where?
on radio?
So my first gig on the radio was through through a previous person.
Yeah.
And it was just like, hey, you want to go on the radio? I was like, yeah, sure.
Just
you know
to
what I
give
mean?
tips.
And it was like a panel.
Okay.
And it was the Breakfast Club. You know what I mean? It was the first time was an experience.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably like the whole thing of like, I'm playing still small.
Okay.
Because even though I'm on the radio, like there are still people that don't know who I am.
Right.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's people, even though I'm speaking on stages and I'm speaking here, like I still got to push harder. I still got to get my message out there. I still got to, what next radio station can I get? Then I started getting calls from this radio station, this news article. Then next thing you know, I'm like, whoa, like this is too much. Then I started hiring employees. Like at one point in time, I had like 45 employees.
Wow.
Nice.
And it was a lot. You know,
that is a lot. You have to manage a lot.
A lot, you know, and think, I had a friend help me out. Had my brothers help me out, had this person, and and we ended up becoming a business, and payroll and health insurance and benefits and PTO and throughout all that, Got Credit became more than just a company that educated. It became a company that provided families lifestyle. They paid their mortgage, they paid their car, they paid, so through Got Credit, we created something that I never thought possible. It gave individuals hope that there was something else other than their regular 9-to-5 job.
Right.
You know what I mean? So instead of just us educating people, we also allowed people to kind of have a job, more than a job.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Because credit's not really taught like that in school.
No, it should be.
Yeah, it should be. I mean, I know they're teaching like financial literacy to the kids,
nothing.
But it's really dumbed down because, kids don't touch money anymore.
Exactly.
They touch phones and maybe their card, but they're not touching money. So there's like a very big disconnect. So that's
Give
actually pretty
good. Give us a tip for young entrepreneurs, the difference between personal credit and business credit.
So kind of like what you were saying, how the credit's not taught in school. I always think that everyone should at least have the basic fundamentals down of what credit really is. So one tip that I think is very important for people to understand, because you don't really know you're going to become an entrepreneur until you become an entrepreneur.
Right.
True.
So if you start incorporating skills as a young entrepreneur, I think a lot of times it's too late. So you kind of got to incorporate them as a young individual, like a young person, 16, 17, 18. Yeah. 19, 20, you know what I mean? However you start building it. And I think the one biggest thing is starting to know what it means to use a credit card, and how to pay that credit card. So kind of like how you were saying, people on their phone, a lot of the times now you can use Apple Wallet, you can add all your credit cards to Apple Pay, whatever the case is. It's getting the concept of understanding what it is to either swipe or tap a credit card and how to actually manually pay it from a certain account.
It's so funny that you say that, because back in my day, when you went to college, they would just send you, credit cards.
Offers.
Yeah. And I just thought, nice,
that's
all
cool.
right, let's go spend.
Yeah. Yep. And it's the thing, it's free money.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you're able as a young entrepreneur to understand the concept of, okay, if I have a $500 credit card limit or a $1,000 credit card limit, one, how am I going to pay this back? But also when? So, okay, what is the process of me now, which is crazy because you really got to think about it. We tell our kids all the time, well, I'm going to add my kid as authorized using a credit card to build their credit. Okay, but what are you doing? Sit them down, say, hey, listen, if you're going to spend $100 on this credit card, link your bank account to my card or your card, whatever the case is, log in to your bank, put your bank account information on your credit card, learn what it means. Okay, if I have a $500 credit card, but I only have $200 in the bank, if you spend that $500, you still got to come up with the extra $300 somewhere else. Right. Even if you make the minimum payment. But if you're making the minimum payment and you only have $200, that $500 can be in the $560 because of interest.
Right. Yeah.
So it's understanding the basic principles of, okay, if credit is you're borrowing money, but it's also your promise of when and how you're going to pay it back.
Yeah, of course.
That's the most important thing, because the biggest thing that I see, because it's not taught in school, I wish I would have learned this when I was 17, 18, 19. I wish. So now we have it's our responsibility to teach it. Even like my daughter Peyton is 13. She knows what a credit card is. She knows what a checkbook is. She knows how to write a checkbook. She knows how to log into a bank, pay it from a certain account, how to link, like all those things, because there's one thing, because we're so technologically driven, we have to be able to use that to our advantage and show our kids, okay, link your bank account to your phone, link your bank account here, tap it. All right, as soon as you use it the next day, pay it. So that way they understand the fundamentals of what it really takes and to harness their credit.
Right.
Because if they don't get that part down, okay, you have $500, $200, how much are you gonna spend? I might only spend $100. You know what I mean? And then it's gonna teach you how to leave money in the bank, because then you get to save, use, maximize, you know, reward points, all this other stuff. But the first thing is truly understanding how to use it, how to swipe it, and how to pay it back. Because it's one thing for me to add you as an authorized user, or for me to teach you about a credit card, but how and when are you paying it back? Are you paying it back in full? Are you paying it back minimum payment? What are you using it for? If you're just using a credit card to just go to the club and buy some stuff, or are you using it for books, or using it for return on investment, what are you using this money? If you swipe this credit card as a young entrepreneur, am I making money off of it? Okay. Is it for Facebook ads, or is it for a bottle at the club?
Right.
Which is it? Because we already know which one doesn't produce anything other than a headache.
Right.
This one produces money.
Yeah.
And that's what I wish I would have learned, because it probably would have saved me bankruptcy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we don't know it until it's too late. But that's a good thing. You still know it.
Yeah. What's the difference between personal credit and business credit?
So the biggest difference between personal and business credit is that you're allowed to use your business to pretty much secure the debt, or secures the credit, because sometimes it is debt that you're securing too. But you might have to use your personal credit as leverage. Okay. So business credit, you have your LLC. Remember what I was saying when I started my company? I didn't really know what I was doing, but it was Clean Slate Credit Solutions LLC. I also had a tax ID for my business, which is like a social security number for your business. So then you're able to start using that to apply. And depending on the strength of your business, meaning revenue, the industry and things like that, you have to use your personal credit as collateral or leverage.
Got it.
Right.
But you're able to secure business terms. Like if I were to say, hey, Pete, you know what? You can get this car for your business. I mean, on your personal credit, or you can get this car in your business and it should not show up on your personal credit. And that's the ultimate true power of what business credit is. When it's done properly, it does not show up on your personal credit, even if you use your personal credit as leverage to secure that credit or debt. Yeah. You know, so if you were to get a car, you know, let's say BMW. A BMW would allow you to go to the dealership. They'll allow you to get a car using your LLC or EIN. And depending on the state, you might need a Dun & Bradstreet number, and you might need a corp code as well with DMV. But then you can use your personal credit as leverage, get a proof of the car, and that car payment is not going to show up on your personal credit. And as you know, as a real estate agent, if you are going to go buy a home, sometimes a car can put you out of like the ballpark of what the home that you want.
Yep.
Because of the debt to income ratio.
Yep.
So now your debt doesn't show up at all. And that's the true power. When you know, there's a lot of people that say net 30s and like Uline, like that's all good. Like if you're going to use it to make money, then use it. But if somebody says, hey, do you have a business credit card? You're like, oh, I have a net 30. Okay, well, I have a Chase Inc., an American Express, Wells Fargo, PNC Bank, like with $500,000 in credit. That's still business credit.
Right.
But a lot of people chase the net 30s, the Ulines, the Grangers, the things that don't really produce any revenue other than just building your business credit. Well, what are you building it for?
Right.
Like if you're just doing it to build a profile, but you're not really generating any money, you're going to then get in debt trying to build business credit.
If
If that makes sense.
That makes perfect sense.
You know what I mean? So you want to chase the American Express, the Chase Inc. cards, the PNC Bank, the Wells Fargo credit cards that you still have to use your personal credit as leverage, but it does not report to your personal credit, only to your business side.
Your business side. And what would you tell someone who is coming in to say, you know, they're young entrepreneur, they haven't even started their business yet, just, you know, some insight to, they have low credit. What would be a first tip that you would give them?
Oh, they started and they want to start a business?
They want to start a business.
So the one thing is if you have, and you have a low credit score, is if you have a low credit score and you're looking to start a business, understand and realize what caused you to have a bad credit score, and see what you can do to fix it. Because once you get access to $100,000, $50,000 in business credit cards, those same bad principles are going to leak into your business. You might not make payroll because you're behind on your credit cards. You might not make payroll because you're maxed out, you're over leveraged, and you know what I mean? Like I've been there where if you don't pay a certain creditor on the business side, they could, you know, judgment, you know, freeze your merchant account. So it's a different ballpark when it comes to the personal side. Personal side, you can go sometimes 3 or 4 years without making a payment on a credit card, and it's good. Business side, Totally different.
Okay.
So if you're not ready to really embrace the power of good credit, still start your business, but before you start accessing capital and credit, fix whatever it was that caused you to have bad credit. And if it was a loss of revenue, just make more money. You know what I mean? Because that's usually the thing. If you have bad credit, it's either because of the lack of information,
Right.
lack of access to credit, to money or revenue, or you just don't care.
Right.
Right. You're not paying shit.
Either one of those three. You know what I mean? So if you care, but you have the knowledge, but you just don't have the revenue,
Right.
go on YouTube, make more money, go to networking events, put yourself out there, get on a podcast, start your own podcast, sell t-shirts, make more money. That fixes this problem.
Right.
Now you know what it takes to be a hustler, a grinder, and figure things out.
Right.
But if you just don't care, if you're like, I don't care about my credit, when it comes to your business, you're not going to care either. You know what I mean? So you have to harness that.
This might be a dumb question, but I never knew like what really drops your credit score the most, Jose? Is it missing your mortgage, missing your car payment? Is it just like missing the credit card payment completely? Like, like people say like, oh, my credit score dropped 25 points, 40 points. Like, what's that main one that really, boom, crushes you?
Payment history. So it doesn't matter if it's anything.
Gotcha.
So your credit score ranges from 300 to 850.
Right.
And out of that, there's 5 categories that affect the 550 points. So 850 minus 300 is 550 points. So 35% of that 550 is payment history. So you kind of got to look at it like a little pie.
Gotcha.
And 192.5 points of that 550 is the 35% payment history. So let's say if you have an auto loan, a mortgage, a credit card, whatever the case is, if you're late on either one of them, it can drop your score, 60 points, 80 points. There's not really a definitive number because what it really takes is the consideration is like how many on-time payments you have.
Right.
Right. And then how many late payments you have. So like, let's say if you have somebody that has been building credit for 15, 20 years, they might have a late payment, but it's not going to be as crucial as somebody that just started building credit and they have a late payment because they have less to grade off of. Even though it's the same 192.5, they have less characteristics and variables that affect that 35% payment history. You know what I mean? Yeah. So if you're late on the mortgage, it depends. Okay, well, what else do you have in your credit? Do you have an auto loan? Do you have maxed out credit cards? Because that's another pie chart. But what else do you have on your credit report? Is this your own? If this is your only account, it might be a lot more points that you lose. Yeah. But if you have like a mortgage and like 6, 7 other accounts, it might not be as much. Now, here's the thing. When you make your payment again and you get current, don't expect for it to rebound. Don't expect to. So if you lost 80 points, you're not going to get those 80 points back.
80 points back, right.
You know what I mean? And your credit score, what the credit score was designed, it's the likelihood of you being 90 days late or more in the next 2 years. That's what it is. So that's why you ever notice that even when mortgage lenders are like, yeah, after 2 years, we really don't care.
Yeah.
Right.
Like it's really true because it still hurts you. But as long as you've done everything right in the last 2 years, technically your principles and your habits, everything's changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's really hard to say, is it a mortgage? Is it an auto loan? Is it a credit card? The late payment's going to affect you, but it depends on what else do you have on your credit.
So it's on-time payments versus delinquent payments pretty much. So if I'm on time all the time and so for whatever reason I skip this one, I'm not going to be penalized as much as if it's the vice versa, which is I'm always late and then I hit this off.
Correct.
I'm not going to go up much.
Right.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
That was never explained to me. Actually.
Yeah. It's tricky. It's tricky, but you realize that like, I'm just one late payment. Yeah, but one late payment can bring it down 80 points depending on what you have on your credit.
Yeah, now you're fucked.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How come when you pay off a credit card or not even you pay off and close it, your credit score goes down?
Yep. So now what you're doing is if it's a credit card, the next category is debt utilization or access to credit, right? So that's 30% of your credit score, which is 165 points. So now if you had like a $3,000 credit card, no payment history, no late payment history, but you close it, you now have $3,000 less open on your credit, even if there's no balance on it.
Right.
And then the next category is time and file. So if you close it, that's 82.5 points. So now that's the average age of open accounts and also how long you've had credit history. So now you close a credit card and then you also have less open accounts. It affects both of those. So it's kind of like penalizing you, which I think is dumb. Yeah. But it's all a game. Right. It's really, as long as you're able to play the game of how credit is played, you'll be able to master it. But when you close a card, whether it's on purpose or not, it is going to ding the 30% and the 15%.
So should you leave it open?
I would say it depends. It depends on if it's a credit card that has like ridiculous fees. Like there's credit cards like First Premier, Credit One Bank.
Yeah.
Like those are like really like, I would say even less than subprime credit cards. They charge you a monthly fee whether you use the card or not.
Yeah.
And they have high interest rate. And those are the charge-offs that we see the most. So what I tell people is come into my program. You have those credit cards, pay them down, fix your credit, get approved for regular credit cards, and then close them. It's going to be a little bit of a ding, but those are trap cards. They're going to mess you up down the road.
Yeah.
So that's the only time I would recommend closing a credit card is if it's like a really bad subprime credit card.
Yeah. And I think some people even neglect to know that they're getting charged. Like they'll have that card, leave it alone, and all of a sudden they build it up, and it's like,
fees.
yeah, and then maybe it's like $200 there, and then when they go for a mortgage, it's like, oh, I didn't even know I had that.
Right.
And you got to pay that off, get that rid of it, and then clean it up, and let's get moving. Yeah.
Yep. Or you don't even know you have it as far as like the monthly payments for the fees, and then next thing you know, you have 3 months of late payments for a monthly fee that you had no clue on.
That part, yeah.
You know what I mean? So the biggest thing I would say too is, which I forgot to mention, is auto payment. Is putting every single one of your credit cards on auto payment for minimum payment.
Okay.
Just because you have $1,000 balance doesn't mean you have the means to pay $1,000, but at least make sure it's paid from an account that has, if it's $25 minimum payment, make sure you're paying at least $25 a month, which will then prevent the late payment and a ripple effect of you having bad credit.
Got it.
Right.
Tell us about your credit academy.
So the God Credit Academy is one of those things that we felt like it was a community of people that were looking to be a part of something that was more than just credit, but also something that they knew that, you know, a lot of the times when we experience something in life, whether it's credit, whether it's a hardship, whether it's something, whether it's owning a business and making a lot of money, a lot of the times we can't relate to people. You know, sometimes even as a real estate agent, you know, you're like, man, like I have to be around other realtors because realtors understand the way I think, the way I feel. So we created the God Credit Academy so that way people could be around other people that were on the same mission as them. What's the mission? Better credit, better opportunities, buying a business, starting a business, getting into real estate, growing a business, revenue, marketing. It's more than just credit. You know what I mean? Because if you look at, okay, if I give you an 800 credit score today, if you have zero debt today, what do you do with it? Do you just leave it? Or is there an opportunity for you to quit your job? Can you retire your mom? Can you retire your wife? Can you put your kid through private school? Can you send your kid to, what are you going to allow credit to do? And one of the things that I like to teach in the God Credit Academy is how to build generational credit. You know, a lot of people talk about generational wealth. They talk about like life insurance. They talk about this. But is every single one of the kids in your family, are they graduating high school and or college with an 800 credit score? If not, you have to be the one that teaches them that. There's always that one person in every family that either breaks the curse or creates something that never creates a curse.
Right.
There's a curse. No. Well, why don't you be the family that there's never a curse in your family because you broke it all.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you're not that person in your family that's going to help you change the way people think, then get around the people that will help you change your mindset. And that's really what the God Credit Academy is. It's we have people that have good credit, bad credit, businesses. I have celebrities. I have coaches. I have millionaires. It's all types of people. But when, you know, you ultimately look at it is, what are you ultimately trying to do? You're trying to get access to things that you normally wouldn't have been able to with credit. And if you could do that with people that are around you and then you go home and instead of you talking about the Giants game, yo, man, what's your credit score? Hey, man, how much money you got saved? You know, and your conversations start to be different rather than talking about, you know, football is great. What's crazy is I'm not a sports guy no more. I don't watch sports at all. Unless it's like a boxing, I'm watching Berlanga or something. I don't really watch sports because I'm not making money on it.
Right.
If the Giants lose, I still got the same amount of money in my pocket. So guess what? Rather than me watching the Giants game for 4 hours, what can I do that can generate revenue for 4 hours? That's what the God Credit Academy is. It's changing your mindset, changing your belief, not only about credit, but about family, about money, about your parents, about your kids. Like, you could have an 800 credit score, but if your kid looks at you a certain way, what does it matter?
Right.
You know what I mean? You could be a millionaire, but if nobody wants to be around you because when you walk in a room, people look at you and they say, oh my God, this guy's a creep or this guy's whatever. You know what I mean? We know that. What do you want people to perceive you as when you walk into a room? Do you want to be perceived as the guy that has a lot of value? You know, me and John and me and my brothers, if it's not about money, I don't talk about it. I will not call my brothers up. Yo, did you see what that TikTok post? Did you see it? I don't do that. Yo, did you see what happened to Diddy? Did you see that? Hey, man, what are we doing today to get money?
Right.
We created an SOP on the way here. You know, I'm like, all right, we got to do this. We got to brainstorm. Let's put this in. And if you're not using ChatGPT to help you out, use it. You know, I'm a Marine at the end of the day, still a little bit of a jarhead. So I still have sometimes a little bit of a hard way to figure things out. But you had all the tools necessary to help you get to that next level. ChatGPT, SOP. I mean, imagine you as a business owner, somebody saying as a young entrepreneur, hey, you have an SOP? What?
Right.
What's the SOP? Well, standard operating procedures. Right. For what? For everything. Yeah. Because if you don't happen, what happens if you fall down today?
Who's taking over?
Who's taking over?
Yeah.
Jose, what else do you offer?
So I offer me. You know, I am Jose Rodriguez Jr. and I offer myself. You know, one of the best things that people don't realize is what you see on Instagram a lot of the times is fake. Yeah. A lot of the times what you see even in person is fake. You know, I'm as real as it gets. I've been bankrupt. My wife almost left me. I was suicidal at one point. I come from a home where, unfortunately, my father was on drugs for almost all his life. Thank God, he's been 2 years clean from crack and cocaine. And almost a little over 40 days clean of alcohol and weed. And all that stuff has made me a better person. You know what I mean? I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a brother. And I can let people know that when people do gravitate towards me and when people get to really know me, I probably have one of the biggest hearts you'll ever meet. And it's a lot of the times why I get stomped on, but it doesn't prevent me from loving. It doesn't prevent me from giving it to the next person because I just want to see people win.
I love that.
You know what I mean? I want to see people win at the highest level. And if there's something that I can do through the God Credit, now here's the thing. My boys call me, people call me. If you're not a member of the God Credit Academy, I honestly don't even answer half the time. Or unless you're a partner or somebody that I do business with, because my mindset is different. Don't call me about the little stuff. Call me about the way. If you're struggling in life, let's get you a job. Let's figure out how we can make you money. Let's talk about that. Right. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if you want a shoulder to cry on, I might need yours to cry on too one day too. Right. You know what I mean? So that's who you get with me. That's what else you get.
Now I noticed on your Instagram you changed your handle. So tell us about that.
So I felt like you know, my previous Instagram name was The Credit Dude. And The Credit Dude was formed through me owning this company, Got Credit. One day I'm in 7-Eleven and I love Slurpees, by the way. I used to get Slurpees and the little taquitos, whatever the case is.
Who doesn't love a good Slurpee?
And this guy's like, one of my clients, hey man, ain't you that Credit Dude? And my wife is like, that's your Instagram name. Because my Instagram name was Clean Slate Credit Solutions. It was, I didn't know. And she's like, that's your new name. And I'm like, what is my new name? She's like, The Credit Dude. You just hear him? I'm like, oh, like I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Right. Yeah. So I started going by The Credit Dude. And everything I did around that was Credit Dude, which is great. Yep. Seminars. You know what's crazy is I had The Credit Dude name, maybe I would say for like 6 or 7 years. I forgot how to be a husband. I forgot being a husband. I forgot being a dad. I forgot being a son that checked in on his mom every once in a while. I lost myself in the entrepreneurial space the same way I kind of lost my space when I had nobody watching me on recruiting duty and doing. I started not becoming and just being myself. And whenever somebody would search The Credit Dude, it was tied to something that I wasn't really, that's not me. You know what I mean? We all make mistakes in life and we all do things that maybe we're not proud of, but I was proud of The Credit Dude at one point, but then when I realized the rabbit hole and how my name was being mentioned in rooms and being associated with certain people, I realized it was time for a change. And I had to embrace, I'm a junior. I wanted to embrace Jose Rodriguez Jr. for who I am and what I bring to the table, because I bring to the table more than just credit. Right. You know, I'm a 15-year business owner. I'm a husband. I'm a father. And I'm someone that when you get to know me, I'll give you the shirt off my back. We're just gonna put it on together. That's the difference. If I give you the shirt off my back, we both might have to wear it one day. Yeah. You know what I mean? So don't screw me over, because then when I have another shirt, you ain't gonna get it. Right. You understand what I'm saying? And that's the way it goes. But I've learned through all this that you don't always have to give people the shirt off your back. Help them get their own. Yeah. You know what I mean? And Jose Rodriguez is crazy because it hasn't even been a week since I changed it. Since I changed it. Yeah. It literally hasn't been a week.
It was like last, Friday?
I think it was last Friday over the weekend, actually. Yeah. And I spent more time with my wife. I've been on a couple of dates with my wife, even at home. My daughter asked me to help her with her homework. Called my brothers out the blue. And I'm already a different person in a week. It's because it's that thing where I don't have time. It's like this. Kind of like when I joined the Marine Corps. It's like this. And if that's always been a good thing and a bad thing, And the only way I know how to go is forward. I can't look back. I can't look behind me. So yes, I'm still the credit dude, but Jose Rodriguez is someone that's going to change the world in many ways than one. And I'm ready for it. You know what I mean? I'm holding back the tears right now, me saying this, because it's the first time I say it public. But I realize that what I'm going to be capable of is more than just credit. And I look forward. I changed the world through Marine Corps. I changed the world through credit. Now people are going to be able to experience what Jose Rodriguez can do for them, not in a cocky way, not in a way where I think I'm better than you, but I have the tools, a little bit of tools that can help you get to the next level. And
it's just growth.
That's it.
It's just growth. What are you gonna do next, Jose? Like, are you adding anything to the credit, to Got Credit? Like, is there gonna be like more than just repairing credit? Are you doing like, are you stepping it up? Like, what are you trying to do?
You guys are good, man. You guys are asking a great question. So, actually, yes. What we're looking at doing is once you get your credit and your personal credit and or business credit foundations to a certain level, there's always a what's next. Luckily I was fortunate enough to have coaches and mentors. Ryan Stewman, I had Paul Riddick, Derek Harper, had a lot of people that helped me understand how to make money, how to create revenue, how to do marketing. So one thing that we want to do through the Got Credit Academy is kind of create like another step up,
right? With
teaching people where as long as your credit is in order and the fundamentals of the basic principles of maintaining a good credit score are solid, then the Got Credit Accelerator was born, and that was born within the last week or so. It's the first time I say it publicly too, because we're still creating it. Because the accelerator is something to where you have to already have it's kind of like in karate. You can't get your green belt or your purple belt. You gotta get the white belt first, and the yellow belt, and you gotta progress. And then through that, me and my brother Jaman, who is my personal trainer, we are working on a mastermind that's called Truth. The Truth Mastermind. A lot of people hide from the truth.
Yep.
A lot of people don't like to live in truth.
Facts.
A lot of people like to lie. A lot of people like to unfortunately hide, whether it's behind Instagram. You want to act one way, but when you come home, you don't even talk to your wife and daughter. And through Truth, one of the biggest things is that's where true transformation happens. I was lucky enough to have met Garrett White, which is the course that I went through of his, is what helped me change my Instagram name without even realizing it. And it's something that I've always been wanting to do. Me and Jaman have been working on this mastermind for like 3 years. And it's something that we know that we both can come together. It's crazy. Me and Jaman, born the same day. He's Black, I'm Puerto Rican. Born the same day, same birthday, everything. We always go through the same thing together. And we figured that there's probably more people out there that need a little bit of guidance when it comes to living in truth.
Yeah.
If somebody would have helped me out back when I was 19, 20, I probably wouldn't have made those mistakes, but it made me who I am. So sometimes you got to go through those things. Yeah. Sometimes you got to go through the rough patches in life. You got to go to the point where your wife almost leaves you, where your kid doesn't look at you the right way, where you have no money for payroll, you have no money for nothing. What do? I couldn't quit. Right. I can't quit. If I quit, there's more things that happen than just me. There's other families that depend on me. There's people that depend on me. So that's the two things, is the Got Credit Accelerator, which is a step up from the Got Credit Academy, which hopefully, there's no timeline on it, but that's just something that we're developing. Yeah. And then the Truth Mastermind with me and Jaman, and we have a lot of things coming with that. It's still like in the development stages, but there's something that I can provide in each one. You need good credit, I can help you there. You want to make revenue and build funnels and know how to do videos and how to get booked on podcasts, I can help you here. Gotcha. Oh, you want to live in truth? My brother and my dad, they're in recovery. You want to learn how to overcome alcoholism and drugs? Boom, we got you. You want to learn how to get over divorce? Boom, my mom got you. You want to learn how to get over, there's always something
different doors.
Different doors.
Open.
You know what I mean? But the credit dude, all I can offer, credit repair, secure credit card, business credit. Unfortunately, that's the way it is.
But that was a good full turnaround.
It's full circle.
Jose, we have a little thing here that we like to do when we have people on our podcast. We don't know who's going to be the next guest. You don't know. Could you give us a gem for the next guest?
Yep.
Doesn't have to be in reference to credit. Could be.
Yep. So I would say the next guest, one of the things that I always say is it's kind of like never be afraid to be yourself. I think sometimes we run away from who we truly are because we're afraid of what we're ultimately capable of doing. A lot of the times when I tried to be myself, I had people telling me, no, just do this. You're not good enough. Or maybe you are good enough, but I don't want people to know that you're good enough, so I'm going to have you do this. Or don't be yourself, because then somebody might not like you. When you're yourself, you attract people that want to be around you for who you are. So if you are yourself and you live in truth and you don't hide away and you embrace, like I am Jose Rodriguez, and if you embrace who you truly are, you'll be able to not only get the right people around you, but the most important thing is you get the wrong people around. You get the wrong people away from you. And once you can dissect those wrong people away from you, I have lost in the last, let's say 10 years, probably every single childhood friend, a lot of family, a lot of good friends, a lot of friends I met along the way. And unfortunately, love them from afar. One of the biggest things that I had to learn was to not hate. You know, in the beginning, we thought I'm a Gemini. It goes, we could, you know, I'm either hot or cold. I either love you or I hate you. There's no balance, unfortunately, with me. That's one thing I'm learning. But when you become your true self, people will embrace the fact that you have no balance. And they will allow you to become the person that you're ultimately meant to be, and know how to help you when you're hot and how to help you when you're cold, and not try to change who you are.
I love that.
Nice.
Jose, where can people find you?
So you can go on Instagram. I am Jose Rodriguez Jr. Go on my website, gotcredit.com, and I always give them my email too, thecreditdude@gotcredit.com, or Jose, Jose, @gotcredit.com.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And that is a wrap. And we will let you know we're still on Instagram. We're still on YouTube. We are still on Apple. Our podcast is still rolling hot. And we want you to join our community.
Absolutely. Share the videos.